Hello, everyone, and welcome to my presentation. Let me introduce myself. My name is Daffa Rialdo from Bandung Institute of Technology, and today I would like to present my paper about financial literacy and its impact on fraud detection of Indonesia's Generation Z. My presentation will be divided into four parts. The first one is introduction. Second one is research design and methodology. The third one will be findings, and the last one will be conclusion. So, during the COVID-19 pandemic, everyone in the world had to change their form of life as lockdown and quarantine rule were imposed in the majority country in the world. Country had these rules implied as a way to reduce physical interactions in the effort to decrease infections and the spread of COVID-19 virus. As a consequence, social interactions and communication had to be done through the internet. Remote working, online school, online shopping, and social networking are examples of the effect of this transition. Ultimately, the number of internet users increased tremendously during this period of time. Like in the case found in Indonesia, the number of internet users in Indonesia has skyrocketed during this time of lockdown that was imposed amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. The Indonesia Internet Service Provider Associations, or APJII, conducted a survey on the number of people using the internet. The results stated that 196 million, or nearly 73.7% of the Indonesian population, have used the internet in 2020, and it is an approximately 8.9% of an increase from the year 2018. From these figures, there are 23% of users, which is Generation Z, which are within the age range of 15 to 24. The utilization of financial technology application in Indonesia also went on an upward trend. Bank Indonesia has reported that digital transactions have increased 37.8% on a year-on-year basis. This includes bank transfers and digital banking. And according to Indonesia Coordinating Minister for Economic Affairs, Erlangga Hartanto, e-commerce is a big contribution to the country's rapid digital economic growth, and e-commerce account for 72.73% of all digital economic transactions in Indonesia. With the growing number of internet users and activity, come also an increasing number of financial fraud activities. During the COVID-19 pandemic, 1 out of 3 people experienced online fraud in Southeast Asia. And between January and September 2020, the second most common kind of case reported in police report was in internet fraud in Indonesia. This paper is intended to study the impact and importance of financial literacy to a person's ability to detect fraud. Fraud detection in this case would be measured by an aspect of financial literacy, which is financial knowledge. Financial knowledge may help in an individual to distinguish between legitimate and fraudulent information, making them more alert to fraud risks, minimize their relative ignorance to fraud, and foster more efficacy in detecting fraud. Prudent financial activity can lessen an individual's vulnerability to being a victim of fraud, and financial knowledge may equip individuals with the skills needed to raise their awareness of fraudulent behaviors, strengthen their detection performance, and enable them to resist fraud. Moving on to the second part, methodology. The study employ a quantitative research using a descriptive method. Quantitative research methods are one of sort of research in which the specifications are methodical, planned, and explicitly structured from the beginning of the research design to the end. Sampling techniques are typically performed at random, data are collected using research instruments, and data analysis is quantitative or statistical in nature with the goal of testing the established hypothesis. The analysis here is used to find the effect of financial literacy on the awareness of financial fraud. And in order to describe the subject of the study or its finding, this research employs a descriptive methodology. And the concept of descriptive approach is one that uses data or sample that have been acquired in their natural state without further analysis or drawing generalizations to describe or provide a description of the thing under study. In this research, the respondents are consists of Generation Z that live in Indonesia, and the survey conducted in online questionnaire form due to the characteristic of the sample, which is like often utilizing the internet. And based on the research objective, the respondent criteria, therefore, are Indonesian citizen and between the age range of 18 to 25 years old. And on this research, we also also conduct the validity test, and it was conducted with the aim of measuring the validity or invalidity of a questionnaire, validity in research stage, the degree of accuracy of research measuring instrument to the actual content being measured, and each measurement variable is put to the test to see if it's comply with the theory. And the indicator for the validity test would be the corrected item total correlation value greater than or equal to 0.3, which is considered to be valid. The reliability test is a method to assess a questionnaire that serves as an indicator of a variable and to determine how well the questionnaire items were connected to one another in the study. The internal consistency reliability technique using the Cronbach alpha test was utilized. And if a construct or variable has a Cronbach alpha value greater than 0.7, it is considered to be dependable. Moving on to the next findings. So here is the result of the validity test and reliability test. Each question on the questionnaire has been determined valid since it falls within the range of 0.429 and 0.56 as shown in the table here, and it's greater than 0.3. And for the reliability test, the value of Cronbach alpha in this test is 0.795, and this is indicate that it is reliable as shown in the table. Moving on. Based on the table here, for descriptive analysis, the percentage of male respondent is 47.1%. On the other hand, the female respondent is 52.9%. There are not any abnormality figures regarding this category. And for defining the age of the respondent, it is divided into three ranges of 14 to 17 years old, 18 to 21 years old, and 22 to 25 years old. And in this category, there is a significant number in the range age of 18 to 21 years old, which is at the percentage of 84.7%. All the details could be seen on the table. And we're moving on to based on the result that could be found in the table. The statement on the knowledge on usage of financial good and service received the highest score from all the questions that have been asked, with the score mean of 4.04. And the second highest level on the survey statement is the statement, I set financial goal for myself in terms of what I want to accomplish with my money, with the mean score of 3.99. The statement with the least amount of mean score is the capability in calculating return on investment with the score of 3.01. Next. The last analysis that will be conducted is a cross-tabulation between variable of financial literacy and fraud detection. For this part, financial literacy aspects were divided by financial knowledge and financial behavior. And the result stated that 65 respondents out of 85 mentioned that nobody has attempted to do any fraud to them, while 14 out of 85 respondents said that they do not know if there are anyone who had attempted to commit fraud to them. On the other hand, there are 6% said that they know if there are someone attempted to do fraudulent activity to them. And from the result, the people that appear to be aware that someone has attempted to do fraud to them are among the highest scoring respondent in the financial knowledge score. All six have their score higher than 3, and from 65 respondents that say no, uh, no one has attempted to do fraud. Most of them are in the middle of the score from 2.75 to 3.75. Uh, we're moving on to financial behavior. Uh, it is calculated using the same techniques from the previous analysis. And the score of financial behavior from the respondent could be relatively high. For example, with the score of 4, there are 15 out of 65 respondents. And from the result, it could also be seen that the majority of respondents scoring above 3. This is accounted for the person said that they did not have anyone trying to fraudulent activities to them. And uh, we're finished with this part. We're moving on to discussion. From the survey, we there are several figures that could be evaluated. Firstly, from the sample profile that have been analyzed, the dominating age range is between the age range of 18 to 21 years old. The respondent in this category also translate into the amount of sample that are university student on which the two categories are equal. There is also financial literacy level and its relationship with respondents' ability to detect fraud. The aspect of financial literacy is being divided between aspect uh, of knowledge and aspect of behavior. And in the data, financial behavior overall has the higher score for all respondents, despite the respondents scoring higher on the first statement on the survey, which is in the aspect of financial knowledge. Summing up from the total respondents who are able to detect fraud, it is significantly higher than the one who are not aware that someone has attempted to act fraudulently. And for the last part, conclusion. As I previously mentioned, the study is about the role of financial literacy that are evaluated within the segmentation of financial knowledge and financial behavior. And for the ability to detect fraud, as the trend on fraud keep increasing in the upcoming year, the level of complexity also would increase. This would likely mean consumer would have to be more informed regarding their ability to detect fraud. The level of complexity in here could be related to the level of technology and system that this perpetrator use. And the study is aiming to discover are there a correlation between one's financial literacy level to their ability to assess fraud and recognize fraudulent activities. Using 85 respondents sample of Indonesia Generation Z, the study examined the correlation between this variable. Generation Z is used as it is one of the most prominent generation in Indonesia, and in the way they utilize the internet on the daily basis. And the result of this study indicates that there is a strong indication that both financial behavior and financial knowledge indeed make people more aware of detecting fraud. And it also could be said that Indonesia young generation possess the knowledge and the ability in financial literacy. This research proposed that there is a correlation between financial literacy and fraud detection. Further research could be conducted as there are more variables that could be discussed more deeply. As fraudulent become more complex with the advancement of the internet technology, variable like people understanding of a digital literacy could be made. This will allow not only the knowledge in financial term, but also people knowledge of the digital world. That's all from me. Thank you for listening and have a good day.